Yes, sir. What you doing here?
Me? Who are you talking to?
Anybody, I don't care.
Just,
I have to stay here anyway.
I have a request
Yeah.
to feel better about who I am in all situations. In situations that I'm not interested in.
Slow down just a little bit. You want to feel better about who you are?
Yeah. In some context.
Okay. How do you know how to feel whatever you feel about who you are?
Before I...
Do you have like a self-image and you look at it and it makes you feel good or bad?
Yeah. In some context, I don't even worry about the picture. In some other, as you were mentioning to her, that you go with a preconceived idea that anything doesn't match them. And usually, before I even get there, I make it not match and not
Okay.
even go.
I wasn't talking to her about that. I was just talking about that. She did something totally different. Because we don't want to install that unpleasant thing in her, so we will not refer it to her. No, I was talking about me, in terms of disappointment. It requires adequate planning. See, I did this thing when I found out that this is what I was doing, that, I'd make up these ideas, and then I'd go to see if things would match them or not. And I'd always end up feeling that things weren't quite right and all that kind of stuff. That the first thing I did was, in order to get myself out of that, see, because you can't just stop it. Your brain's been doing this stuff for years, and it just like wacko does it automatically. I figured as long as I was going to do it, that I was going to really do it right. So I started coming up with the most absolutely grandiose expectations, so that there was no way in the world that it could even remotely match from the beginning, so that I would use a technique that he does called fuck it, and just kind of go on with life. So instead of trying to get rid of the process, what I found out works is to make something so outlandish from the beginning that you just throw it out and kind of go on with life.
I'm missing that step.
You're missing which step?
I make it so big, but I don't throw it out. I stay with it, and obviously it's not
okay.
gonna match.
You make it so big, but do you make it detailed from the beginning?
Very much. And
All right. Now, pick one thing, for example, where you did this. Can you give me an example? Where you made expectations that...
yeah.
All right. Just give me an example.
It wasn't a person I met, and
All right. So you met this person.
right, and then it went abnormally nice, for first time, and then
Okay.
and then driving home, I was planning on maybe call this person,
Yeah.
and then I went through the motion of calling and all of the stuff that I don't want to happen. I put there, and then I
No, wait a
talked
minute.
myself
You
out of
you
it.
made up expectations about the things you don't want to happen?
Make expectation of what I want to happen and why it wouldn't happen. And then my wouldn't happen got bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally I said, well, that's senseless and forget it. And then I was calm.
And the hell with the bitch anyway. I really didn't want to call her. and so you didn't even give her a chance.
No.
But she didn't deserve it after what she did inside your head.
And I did that.
What are you telling me? Are you telling me you really did this?
Sure. And then if I'm not interested,
Well, how would you know?
no.
I mean,
Yeah,
slow down here. I mean, this is a little different than I thought we were talking about. I mean, those aren't expectations. I mean, we have a different word for that. Those are called wanton hallucinations. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about like, gee, I think I'll call her and expecting her to, respond positively on the phone, and she steps out of the bathtub and goes, "How is it? What do you want?" And then you go, disappointment. Gee, she didn't want to hear from me. You did it all without even calling her.
I saw the phone call, and then I saw that it's going on good. Maybe
Yeah.
went out a few times, and then I took it out.
So you've already been out with her a couple of times
Right,
now.
in the
You're
future.
5 minutes away from the house. How's the girl going to keep up with you? You're going to take, next time you take her out, you're going to say, you remember when we went ice skating last weekend, the argument we got into? She's going to think you're Fruit Loops. Now, see, I would like to recommend that, when you drop her off, what you do is you say good night, right? And then drive home. Okay, now, in the process of driving home, why don't you think about sending her flowers, right? Period, right? What is all this other stuff about? Sounds like you're a planning freak. of some kind.
Yeah.
But you also plan for things to go badly, so then you don't bother to do them?
Right.
Okay. All right. Now,
Things that I'm very much interested, that's how I would do it. Like in the work situation also, you know.
all right, in work, does it work for you at work to do this kind of
So I
stuff?
don't do it, so then the last moment I do it, and it always turns out good. When I'm just there, got to do it. You take care of it, and it goes right. But if I'm planning for it, then all the things that go wrong I see, and all the things that can go right I see, and I plan for all of them. And then it gets too overwhelming. I say, well, why worry about it? I'm going to get to it, I get to it. And then,
Yeah. Does this take a long time?
you know, it happens very quickly.
Oh, it happens very quickly, and you get it over with, and then you say to hell with it and go on. So what is it that you wanted?
I want to not to do that because I do it all the time.
Oh, well, just stop it once it starts. What happens? Like, if you were to start doing it now, what sets it off? How do you know when to do this? Let's say I had to be you. Oh, God, what a job. I had to do this for a whole day. Well, you'd have to pay me a lot to do that for a whole day. I have so much trouble keeping track of lists. That would be a tough one for me. But, I mean, how do I know when to start doing this? Okay, so I take this girl, I drop her off at her house, right? Start to drive away. The first thing I say to myself is gee, maybe I'll call her again.
Right, and look at the, first you start with all the positive potential.
Are these pictures or words?
There must be some pictures, but all I'm aware of is my own voice.
Okay, so you start saying stuff inside?
Something about what is this, what is that.
You go, well.
Good stuff.
So you start by giving a whole list. What if I called her, and what if she goes out with me again, and
Right.
you know, what if we spend a pleasant evening at her house and whisper sweet nothings
Well, we
in
are
each
not
other's.
that far. I
What?
just start saying that.
What?
What if I call her?
Oh, you go,
Then right
what if I
away
call her?
say,
That's a positive thing.
right, and then right away I say, what if she says no, thank you and stuff? Then I start feeling bad about that.
So you
Then I
don't
say,
list
well,
all the, you lied to me. You don't list all the positives. You just list one positive, and then you start trashing the shit out of it.
And then I go to the next positive and destroy it. And, you know,
What do you do for a living?
I'm an electrical engineer.
Oh, okay. I was hoping you weren't a surgeon. Just checking here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Can you just like back up? All right. Now, you know that the voice that like throws out the positive things that goes, hey man, maybe I should give her a call, right? All right. Is that a different voice than the one that goes, if you call her, she won't want to talk to you anyway?
Definitely.
Okay. Is that a different voice?
It's a different tonality. It's the same, my own voice.
Well, it's okay. Don't get technical on me, okay? All right. So it has a different tonality.
Right.
Does it come from a different location?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one comes from where?
Positive and kind one, optimist one comes from here,
Okay. Where does the other one come from?
right opposite of it.
Got a little double on one side and an angel on the other to go with it? Okay. Now, what I would like you to do is to try something. Now, I want you to think of, for example, the example, right? Okay, you're in the car, you're starting to drive away. Okay, on one hand, thing says, well, maybe I should give her a call, right? Now, immediately for you, then you start getting this list of stuff from the other side?
Right.
Okay,
It's more of a judgmental of past what I know about me.
like what?
Not,
It's okay, you can say, you can't say anything worse about yourself than you've already said, so.
that's true. You know, I
Just go
don't
for
know.
it,
Because of the physical.
See, you can't be as bad as you're making yourself out to be here.
That's true. Because
mean,
of what I.
Just because this voice says this stuff to you doesn't mean we're going to believe it.
That's true.
I mean,
No,
do you believe the stuff this voice says about you?
Not really, because it's not some good stuff, but I'm not sure that it's some function for it. But the way I look at myself.
Does that voice have any sense of humor? Never thought about it, huh? This could all be one big joke.
Could be.
Could be. Well, I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to go in and I want you to start with the positive voice. I want you to say something. And then I want you to take that other voice and I want you to change it into something that is teasing you in a particular kind of way. You know when you tease somebody because you like them and you're kind of having fun with them? Sort of like something you may have experienced in the past 10 or 15 minutes? Okay, where something toys with you. See, it's like, for example, you know, I had the experience recently of going out with a couple of other guys, and this one guy looked over at this table and he said, God, that woman is so beautiful. He said, I'd like to meet her. And I said, well, why don't you just like walk over and say hello? And he said, I could never do that. She would never want to have anything to do with somebody like me. And I thought, you're right, I'll go. No. What I did is I used an old technique. I lied to him. I said, you know, well, it's been my experience that one of the things is that extremely beautiful women never get spoken to because there are so many men that feel that way. And that it's really not very nice, you know. I mean, it's really very, very not nice for, you know, a woman to be stunningly beautiful and to be avoided all the time because of it. You know, I mean, it's like, and the only people that ever end up talking to her at all are people that are speaking in a language like this, because they never get to meet anyone. Now, as soon as I told him it was unselfish and that he owed it to her, because she was sitting there by herself, she'd been sitting there for about 15 or 20 minutes, I said, you know, because just because you think she's beautiful doesn't mean she thinks she's beautiful either. And, you know, the thing is that as I began to do it in a way where I started teasing him. Because then he started to hesitate, and I said, but on the other hand, you know, you really are such a complete schmuck. Probably no girl would want to talk to you anyway. You wouldn't have anything interesting to say. There isn't anything you could do to go over there and say that would make her feel good. You know what I mean? Anyway, give me a break, Bandler, will you? And I said, never. Now, the thing is can you take that internal dialogue, the one that tells you all the bad things, all I want you to do is to go inside, say one positive thing, and then I want you to start out with that tonality the way it is normally, and then turn it into one that teases a little bit. See, one of my heroes wrote a trilogy of books in which you have to figure out what the meaning of this trilogy is, and it ends up that the secret of life is to just lighten up. Any of you read
Tom Robbins?
Tom Robbins, yeah.
Yeah.
His trilogy, that's what it's, the big secret of all existence and meaning is just lighten up. Now, can you take this philosophy in hand for a moment and just start now, but you have to train yourself again. I want you to go inside, start with your normal positive voice, and then go to the other one and start it with the same normal tonality and then switch it into something that's just teasing you. It can tease you about all your faults. After all, they may be true, but if it teases you, at least you'll be able to listen and enjoy yourself. Can you hear a teasing voice inside there? Well, okay. And remember, you have to put it in exactly the same location.
Just went away.
What?
I started to make it teasy, just kind of went back. Just went away.
Well, then just start over again and do it again. You'll catch it. Remember, it's your internal dialogue. It's your brain doing it. You know, just go ahead. You'll get a handle on it. I mean, if nothing else, you now know how to chase it away. Have a sense of humor? My ass, I'm out of here, boy. I'm going in her. Don't give up so easy. Get back in there and give it a shot. How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, I seem to have parts of me that are going in different directions, and it has to do with motivation too, you know, like motivating myself. I guess if they're going in different directions, it's pretty damn hard to.
Do you have different parts motivated to do different things, or?
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Okay.
And it seems like, let's see. Yeah.
How do you know you have parts?
Well, I don't know. It seems like I have one here, and then I get started on that, and I, say, oh, what about this?
They in voices or pictures, or?
Feelings most of the time.
How do you know what it wants you to do?
I think there's a visual aspect to it, but I'm not very conscious of my pictures.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, stop and think of a time where you were going in more than one direction. Go back and remember it for a few minutes. So, like, started going one direction and then another?
Okay.
Okay. How did you know which direction to start to go in?
Let's see. I have a voice for that.
We have a voice, okay, and the voice told you to do one thing. Then at a certain point in time, you began to start to do something else?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how did you know what that was?
Feeling. Let's see.
Was the feeling related to what you were doing or something totally different?
To what I was doing.
Okay. Was it telling you to do it differently? Or to not do it, or?
Like this isn't going to work out or something like that.
So it's not that you wanted to do two things, it's that you were starting to do one thing and you had another voice that said, this is not going to work. Was it right?
Well, certainly was after I got the feeling. I couldn't get back to, hey, like this is really going to be good.
Okay. Now, when you had the second voice which interrupted you, do you think if it didn't interrupt you, you would have done just fine?
I don't know.
You don't know. Was it anything that's dangerous? Okay. I mean, sometimes people think, I can fly, and a voice says, you better not try that. I don't want to go messing with that voice. I want to put in another one in there that says, you're damn right you can't fly right outside of the building.
No, it'd be related to, if I were to say a word, it would be kind of like getting discouraged with it, and so.
So you have like a voice which discourages you from being able to do something you want to do.
Well, that's the feeling that I get. I'm not sure.
Whether it's a voice or not?
Yeah, and it could.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you just stop for a few minutes and go inside and think about what it is that you wanted to do. See if you can motivate yourself again. You can get yourself real motivated and then find out if you get discouraged.
Yeah, it seems like after I've gotten to the point where I've gotten discouraged, it's hard. I haven't been able to get back up to, hey, let's get this back on.
Okay.
Go after this again.
Okay. Well, are there other things that you're highly motivated and excited about doing?
Well, seems like recently, I get discouraged pretty easily, or something that I'm interested in just a little while, it's forget it. And I know I have an element of curiosity, but with this other element of discouragement or lack of motivation.
Well, those are different things. Okay. Now, when you discourage yourself, how do you do it? I mean, you said there's a voice. Is there pictures to go with it, or?
Feelings, what seems to be...
Well, the feelings are what you're aware of. We got to back up a little bit. I mean, you can't just start with the end. We have to do all the pieces that go with it. It's sort of the name of the way we play this game here. Now, in other words, if you started to do what we're doing right now, right, how would you discourage yourself?
Seems like there's a visual element
Okay. I mean, do you see yourself in the picture, or?
I'm not very aware of my pictures. And
Yes, it's all right. We'll just pretend that you can see them. Are
Okay,
you-
okay, seems like whatever's there in the visual, the action stops.
Okay. Start it up again.
Yeah, I don't know what to do to get the action started.
It's your brain. What you do is you say, roll them. Start it up again. I mean, go back to the thing that you wanted to be motivated about initially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you get the pictures so that they're moving in that one?
Okay.
Okay, got the pictures moving? All right, do you feel motivated when they're moving?
A little bit, not as much as I used to. And
Okay, well, all right, try making the pictures bigger.
no.
All right, try making them closer. Try moving them faster.
Okay, there seems to be a certain rate that's all the faster they'll go.
Okay, as they speed up, do you feel more motivated?
Well, let me slow it down.
Okay.
Okay, slowing it down, draws me down.
All right, well,
Okay, and then,
speed it up.
okay, then I can only go so fast, and it's,
Then what happens?
I don't know, there seems to be a limit on it or something.
Well, just try. It's your brain. Just, they're just pictures. for
I know.
heaven's sake.
I don't know what to do.
Well, you'd be surprised. See, people aren't used to doing a lot of this deliberately. I mean, I've asked people, they had a picture of something, and I've asked them to move the picture back. And I've had people say, well, how do you move them back? And I said, put your hands up there and push it if you have to. It's just something that you're not used to doing. Now, go ahead and get it going as fast as you can.
Okay.
All right. And then see if making it bigger makes it so you feel more motivated.
No,
Okay. How about if it's moving fast? How about if you move it away from you a little bit?
no, I
All right.
guess.
Throw in a little sound.
I think it's in that getting it to move faster somehow. And I don't know what.
Well,
Because when I slow it down, I really.
Well, then go in and speed it up even faster. How fast is it going? Is it going faster than life?
No, huh?
It's not? Oh, we can get it to go faster than that. Go ahead. That's why they call them workshops. I don't want to move these pictures that fast. It's early in the morning. Give me a break. Okay. Why don't you just go...
Slowing it down's easy, and then
Yeah,
getting
I-
it back up to that speed's easy. So,
Okay.
what the hell am I doing in here? That's
Well, I tell you what, you just slow it down and then speed it up just a little bit more, and then slow it down and speed it up even a little bit more. I want you to just keep doing this until you can get it to go at least faster than life. Okay?
how about at least as fast as life?
Read my
Stop.
lips. Here. We'll take this a piece at a time. Okay, what other kinds of things do you have? Get to work. Yeah. I have